Glad to have you along. Hope you will give us a call and join in the conversation. Let us know what it is you have on your mind.
Talk Line is on the air. Welcome to Gnostic Five Senses Knowledge, Kings and Queens, Entertainment Education Academy. Let's listen to what the people of Alamance County are talking about this morning.
Today, I hope you will join in the conversation. It's a sad day for the Tar Heel fans, yeah. 13-2. No. We've been talking about this game, these last three games, in the College World Series here at the radio station for some time now. Vance and I really thought it was going to be the pitching of the Tar Heels going up against the hitting of Oklahoma, and that's what it turned out to be. Absolutely. I think what happened was that when the Tar Heels lost the first game, that sent their pitching rotation out of sync, and they had to, in a must-win now. The next two games were must-win, so they spent most of their pitching prowess in the second game in order to win, and they did win. They managed to hold the Oklahoma hitters to four singles in the second game when they won. So now they had to play this game last night. Well, the pitching was just not there, and the hitting came from everywhere. 13-2, the final score. Oklahoma wins the College World Series, the national championship of college baseball, and the Tar Heels, for the 13th time, don't win. They've been there. It's getting to be like Dean Smith, isn't it? Winning a national championship, going to the Final Four more than anybody that didn't win a national championship. Finally, in 1982, Dean Smith won a national championship. Now, I was sitting there in 1977 when he didn't win again. They were playing Marquette in the Omni. I got a ticket to go when I was down in Georgia, and I was there with a friend of mine, and we were watching, and it was a disaster. It was back in the Four Corners days, and the Tar Heels had been behind most of the game, and they came roaring back and took the lead, and I was going, this is great. Well, Dean Smith made what I think was one of his big blunders that he made, and that is they had the momentum. They had come back, and I think that Smith should have let them keep playing until they didn't score again. But he stopped and put them in Four Corners, and Marquette was ready. And so Marquette in 1977 beat them. They should have won in 81 against Indiana, but they won their first national championship in 1982 in New Orleans, and I was there for that. All right, 2229224. Good morning. You're on Talk Line.
Good morning, Mr. Harry. Hope you're doing well this morning.
I am.
I got me a brand new telephone I want you to know.
Well, let me say something, Jim. I think that our problems, we have voice over IP, which is different from most landlines, and
Yes.
they have been having some trouble. I was trying to talk to them yesterday, and we haven't solved it, so you may pop out again. I think it's on our end.
Yeah, well, of course, my major problem, I know I had a breakup the other day, but my major problem, and the reason why I changed it, is the keypad, I think, was getting worn. It sort of, every time you press the button, it felt like you weren't really pushing it in, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But even, would you believe that even after, I think I've had this phone about 10 years or whatever, that I was able to buy the same identical phone, AT&T, and they told me at Office Depot that they've been creating that same phone for 25 years. And, with technology changes, you really don't expect that to be the case.
I know. I think that's unbelievable.
That's right. It's wonderful. I'm enjoying it. Well, this morning, I want to recognize someone by the name of our outstanding Vice President Vance, that told reporters in Switzerland after the talks with Iran concluded earlier Monday that one objective that they achieved was Iran's agreement to invite international inspections back in the country. It's a significant development because that's the one key to preventing them from developing a nuclear weapon. It's a preventive kind of thing. However, I want to be careful here. However, the problem is that Mr. Tehran has previously refused inspections access to the enrichment sites where Iran's highly enriched uranium is believed to be buried. And the problem is no past president did anything about it. You know, one like Bill Clinton, he was too busy with NAFTA, so American jobs could be lost and shipped overseas. It's just a matter of priorities. It's my belief that after the treaty is signed for this reason, that the inspections are included in the contents. Once again, Iran will refuse to have the inspections conducted. But I want to tell you, President Trump often refers to Iran, I like this, as being one like a child, that if they behave or if they misbehave, this is what will take place. The president, through courage, that's the key to this, folks, through courage, has shown what can be done when they misbehave. And he didn't have to start a war to do it. I'm talking about before this war started. He simply sent those bombers into Iran on that memorable weekend to destroy the nuclear sites. And the same thing can take place in the future. It may have to take place on a continual basis. You know, after you spank the child enough, perhaps the behavior will change. Once again, past presidents, I'm speaking of all of them. I don't care what the political party is. They could have taken the same action, but they lacked the courage. One like Obama took the easy path in creating a cheap treaty. By the way,
my understanding is Trump had to go back and do what Obama did because he was causing so many problems. So shut the hell up, Jim, with your shit. Just dumbass food. That's all you want.
Of course, because they're going to oppose anything that's connected to the president. But I don't believe that's the whole story, though. I really don't. Believe it or not, I believe there is a connection to Vietnam and Iran. In the case of Vietnam, we had a president who failed to take the kind of action needed to win that war. No wonder we heard the chant coming, hey, hey, LBJ, how many kids have you killed today? Because of the way that Lyndon Johnson mismanaged that war and 58,200 young American soldiers sent to their graves. Now, how could that possibly be connected to Iran? Well, it's real simple. When we lose a war, there's no taste for starting another one. Many of our citizens, for this reason, they want to bury their heads in the sand and just sort of forget it. Don't even talk about it. But compare that kind of mindset to the thinking that prevailed when President Roosevelt decided that it was time for us to enter World War II. Although there was a draft, my goodness, thousands volunteered for service on their own, and I'll tell you why. They recognized the danger of Adolf Hitler and other such evil individuals prevailing at that time. If Iran was to grab hold to a nuclear weapon, they would make Hitler look like a saint. The use of a nuclear weapon, and you have referred to this before, Mr. Harry, that we don't need a nuclear weapon in any of this or whatever, which is so true. But it's not just limited to Israel, because there are no limits to evil. And yet so many in this country, they want to avoid the truth and just sort of bury their head in the sand, and this is not a reality.
Jim, you don't know no damn truth. All you know is damn lies. What the white people put out here, a bunch of damn lies.
With that had addressed to the nation, either right now or either after this situation is concluded with Iran, he could state that if anyone is still opposed to our taking military action against Iran, the truth needs to be revealed right now. And it was all about preventing Iran from having a nuclear weapon. And then he should say, if there's any doubt, any misconception about a nuclear weapon, I want to show you a 2-minute video clip, which could easily be created. Pay close attention.
Start living right, Jim, and you won't have to worry about no nuclear weapon taking your ass out. You're going to be taken out soon enough by the Most High God. Get your affairs in order.
Surgeries can no longer be performed because, again, there's no electric power in the hospitals. On and on we go. This video would be a picture of horror. But I think that sometimes that kind of thing needs to take place to.
You right about that. It needs to happen. Because y'all some sorry ass people. I mean, you some goddamn sorry ass people.
Is it your desire that this kind of thing happen anywhere in this world? My God. We're talking about something that makes the Holocaust look small when 2 million of God's people were gassed. In the case of the nuclear weapon, we're talking about millions on top of millions on top of millions. And then Mr. Trump could say in conclusion, that is why I made the decision to confront evil in Iran.
That's a damn lie.
The choice.
Oh, that's a damn lie. He wants to cover up his sorry activities.
A lot of minds would be changed, and not for political sake. Forget the politics. For the sake of humanity and human lives. Have a wonderful day. God bless you, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. 2229224.
I wanted to geometrically listen to itself. Again, I say people who are trying to make Donald Trump right in everything, they say stuff that's absolutely false, make false comparisons, and just give out misinformation, trying to make an excuse for his blunder like this war in Iraq. First of all, it is untrue. Barry said the same thing. There were inspections from the Obama agreement. They were unannounced. They were done by two organizations. There was a combined organization of all the people who signed the treaty. Again, I announced, which included China, Germany, Russia, us, all the big countries. They had inspectors, but then there was the Atomic Agency inspectors that could go in at any time and inspect sites, anytime. And as a matter of fact, the inspectors were still in Iran right up until this epic fury started. This campaign right here started. So it's absolutely false for him to say, oh, we got this great agreement now. You had the same thing. You spent over $100 billion, 13 lives of Americans, and not counting the wounded in American soldiers. And let's not forget those 158 school students that were killed in Iran to arrive at the same thing, and you gave them more money. You gave them money. Now, I don't hear them talk about that. It was always, they sent a plane over there with cash, and it was a $1 billion. We're talking about now over $300 billion. The numbers actually is $500 billion, and that still doesn't add up the amount of tolls, which is going to be $2 million. They're thinking $2 million per ship to pass through the straits, which was free before this started. But now we're told this great agreement. But Trump said that if it didn't work, he's going to blame JD. But if it did work, he's going to take the credit. That came out of his mouth. So this continuous trying to make things better by always making excuses, then just flat out either you lying or you stupid. I don't know which one. And then he talked about the polls. Actually, the polls are worse than that. The polls are 80% oppose this war. 70-some% says that they blame Trump for their lives is affecting them negatively, and 76% Republicans says that this war is negatively affecting them. There's a new poll that came out yesterday that said has his number almost down there where Nixon is. Almost 30% of the people only approve of his administration, of his actions. Because of statements like the other day when he was giving out the Medal of Honor, the highest medal that you can give a military, he said, I wanted to give it to myself. So what? You was a draft dodger. But he wanted to give himself the highest military honor? Those things are making people just wince. That our president is saying is having an argument with the Italian prime minister, who he lied again and said she begged him. So they count the diplomatic relations with us. Their ambassador to come over here because she said that's absolutely not true. I mean, he just simply doesn't know how to stop lying. And he doesn't have to, because there's people that's always making excuses for him. Always making excuses for him. And then you have a Wall Street Journal. You have Rupert Murdoch's paper, who said that this deal, this is not Mike Graves talking. This is Rupert Murdoch's paper, the New York Post. Read the article. The New York Post said this deal is far worse than Obama's deal. So do they have derangement syndrome now? Are they liberals now? Or are they simply looking at the facts as they present themselves? And then we talk about history. Don't go down that road unless you're going to get it right. No, the American people did not want to get into World War II. The only reason they went and signed up, because the World War II had started in the, I think, 38, 39, something like that. That's when Britain was first got into the war. We didn't get into war until December 7, 1941, because of Pearl Harbor. And people were upset about Pearl Harbor. They did not want to get into war. Roosevelt, who's my favorite president, so don't tell me about his history. I know all of it. He wanted to get into the war, but he did not have the backing of the American people, because the American people did not want to get into any more European wars. Just like today, we don't want to get into Middle Eastern wars, because it's causing us treasury and it's causing us our boys' lives. So the American people did not want to get into World War II. Only because of Pearl Harbor did we get into war. And Roosevelt went behind, basically, Congress and did land lease. That's what kept America afloat, because Churchill basically begged Roosevelt to get into the war. So, you know, if you go get on here and act, you got the voice to sound smart, but you don't have the facts behind it. Because everything you said was absolutely wrong. It was a misrepresentation. Now, I want to get to this real quick. This is one of the things we need to be concerned about. Out of all the other things that we worried about with the Iran war and all these other things. But one of your favorite persons, people that you talk about all the time, Tulsi Gabbard, who said that there was no reason for us to go to war with Iran. Second in demand, Mr. West, he resigned before they even entered the war, because he went on to all the talk show, said Iran had no capability of building a nuclear weapon, and then just said, Trump did everything that every president that wouldn't do. Well, you know why? Because they knew we would be in this spot right here. Who knew there would be a quagmire if we did this. Mm-hmm. They could bring down the world economy if we did this. Mm-hmm. That's why the Ayatollah now said the president is desperate. That's why when our vice president went over there to shake his hand, he wouldn't even shake his hand and wouldn't even look at him, because they know how desperate we are. They read the newspaper. They look at the news. They know that the American people are against this war. They know that the midterms are coming up. They also know the price. The Americans don't like to pay a high price in gas. But getting back to Tulsi Gabbard, the person that's going to replace her, he has no experience whatsoever. He was a housing director who didn't have any experience at that. And the Republicans who think that this man in this important position, they absolutely know that he's not that he does not have the experience to do this. And in the job title it says you have to have experience to get this job. But Trump just doesn't pay any attention to that. He puts an interim person in there because he can do that for like I think 3-4 months. That man is already coming in is firing people, cutting budgets, which this man has no experience to do this. The Republican Party is so concerned about this that when they told Trump they was not going to confirm him, that's why Trump is doing a interim now. They wanted to go in and still talking about going in and changing his job title so he doesn't have all the mechanisms that the person who would be a permanent experienced person would. This is the Republican Party that is talking about doing this. Mm-hmm. This is not people with derangement syndrome. This president is putting us at risk. You are already fighting with Iran. You're going to give them billions of dollars to build a terrorist regime, which we all know Iran is a foreign terrorist. which also, again, I would say again, Netanyahu also funded terrorists. But we also know that, so you're going to cut at a very important time where we're dealing with terrorism. We formed this position because we didn't want another attack on the homeland, and then you're putting somebody in this position who has never had any experience in this position. Last thing I want to say this is to you. I believe, two things can happen at one time. I believe you can walk and chew gum at the same time, and things can be true at the same time that others are not. But you said the other day, and I'm an animal lover. I heard you say that you had 27 cats, and that to me that tugs at my heart because animals cannot take care of themselves. And if there's anybody that's willing to take on 27 animals, I've seen bad situations where people have had hordes of cats and dogs. They really do love them, but they don't take care of them. They don't give them the shot. They're in filthy positions, conditions and things like that. But for somebody, and I don't believe that you would ever do anything like that. And for you to take on 27 cats and give them a loving home and a safe space, my hat's off to you.
Appreciate it.
I think that's very special for somebody to do something like that.
Appreciate it.
So I thank you for that.
Thank you very much. 222-9224. Glad to have you along. What are we talking about?
Did you hear me crying last night in Wixit?
It fell apart. It
But
did.
listen, but listen, Harry. The Soviet Union dissolved their union. That's all that happened.
And why did they do that? Why did they want to dissolve the union? Because they ran out of other people's money. Socialism didn't work. Communism didn't work.
No.
Charlie, we're going to have to agree to disagree. But you can say...
They dissolved because they wanted independence. They didn't want to work.
No, they didn't. They dissolved because the socialism didn't work. That's why they...
No, they didn't have. Listen, Russia was not. That was communism. It was not socialism.
Same thing. Communism and socialism
No,
are cousins. They're absolute cousins. And they're not exactly the same, but they're basically the same.
But listen, the United States spent years in a Cold War against the Soviet Union. Years, decades, fighting against the Soviet Union. We call it the Cold War. They was against it. We've gone to war with people over socialism
And we
communism.
completely stayed out of their way. We didn't allow them to do anything. We didn't blockade them. We didn't allow...
Yes, you did.
No, we didn't.
Yes, you did.
We didn't blockade the Soviet Union like we did
Sure
Cuba.
we did.
See, in Cuba, there was a literal blockade. The United States said you can't sell anything to the Cubans. We could sell stuff to the Russians. We could buy stuff from the Russians.
Wait a minute, Harry. What's the purpose of blockading Cuba?
Well, I think it was political. I think it was absolutely political.
Yes, absolutely, it was political.
Absolutely. I don't think there's any, I'm not arguing with you about that. Everything that you said about Cuba is absolutely true. Now, that said, why is it that it was true? And it's because the leadership there, in my opinion, you say it's because we wanted it to. I think the leadership there was so awful and terrible that they allowed it to happen. It didn't have to happen, but they allowed it to happen.
There was nothing wrong with the leadership there.
Fidel Castro, yes it was.
No, there was a propaganda campaign
Absolutely.
going on here for years and years and years.
Of course there was. Of
How
course.
awful those people were. Look at our leaders, how awful they've been.
Charlie, you're not going to get any argument out of me. The reason that Cuba has many of its problems is because of us. And I understand that. But many of the problems that are in Cuba are because of Fidel Castro and the people before him and the people after him that just tore up that country and made it horrible.
That's what America has wanted its people to believe since the beginning. That those people were awful, And if we allow communism and socialism there, it's going to spread to the United States.
Well,
And
look, I think there are people that believe that. I'm not one of them, but and I don't think that there are a lot of politicians that feel that way, but some of them do absolutely feel that way. And I think that when Kennedy was president, because of the disaster of the Bay of Pigs, he absolutely wanted to shut off everything going into Cuba as a punishment. No doubt about it to me.
And everything since, before and since, the United States does not want a socialist country to succeed because it's going to make them look bad.
Yeah.
Why are you not taking care of your people?
All
They
right.
can do it in Venezuela. Why can't you take care of your people here in the United States? They cannot afford to have, in the United States, to have poor people thinking like a socialist. You see what they're saying now about people getting help from the government now. They tell the people it's a bad thing, you're terrible people. Those people want handouts. And all the people who are saying this, they are drawing a welfare check from the government.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind.
Okay.
They don't say anything about our socialist system.
Sure.
We
do.
got people getting a social security check from the government, some of them millionaires, walking around bragging that they're millionaires and they're getting a government
If I
check.
were the king, I'd fix that. I really would. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. You take care.
Let me say one more thing, Harry.
All right. Sure.
I think anybody who have a cat spayed and neutered and claim that they are an animal lover are kidding themselves. God, well, I don't like to say that, but God, well, look, animals were meant to reproduce, to further the species. How does a man come along and decide he want to play God and decide the animals should not produce?
No, I'm not playing.
He's going to spay and neuter them and take the life of those people,
No.
those cats into his own hands,
No.
playing God. That's not right to be.
No. All right. That's not what's going on here. You know, the species of cats is not in danger of being wiped off the face of the earth because of spaying and neutering. What's happening is the lives of many animals is greatly enhanced because of spaying and neutering. It's not playing God. It's not. And look, I have of my 3 cats at home, I have 2 that are neutered and 1 is not spayed. So I have 1 cat that's never been spayed. She doesn't go outside, and the 2 males that are inside are neutered. So you know, there's no reason to do. We just never have done it yet, and she's just fine. I mean, I'm trying to play God. I'm trying to be a good person. That's all. 222-9224. Let me.
Well, we've listened to enough of them not agreeing, so I want to hear what the tarot is saying today. Let's listen to tarot.
Sorry, you guys. The sadness and the regret from this person is just sick. They want to come in and apologize, but they don't think that an apology is going to be enough. I mean, what? Did people torture you?
Yes, they tortured me. They poisoned me several times. They was doing black magic on me. They stole every dime I worked for. They took my house. They just done everything to dismantle me.
They want to come in and apologize, but they don't think that an apology is going to be enough. I mean, what? Did people torture you? Yeah, and you could be a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, Queen of Cups energy. You've been nothing but loving. You've been so loving to everyone. Loving, nurturing, giving, caring. You could have a lot of money here, 10 of Pentacles. You could have received or you and this person, this King of Cups to the Queen of Cups, you guys could have been married and you just gotten a divorce from this person, or maybe recently you've gotten divorced from this person, they're a mess.
No, I've never been married. I have no children. I'm not sexually active.
Know that they didn't treat you right at all. They're a mess. I feel like they know. I feel like they know that they didn't treat you right at all. There's some unfairness here with justice in reverse. Not only are they remembering how badly you were sabotaged here, but they're remembering how loving and kind and giving you were. It's making this person like, I feel like I want to cry because they realize they've treated you so bad. But I feel like the guilt and the memories, there's something about the look on your face. Maybe they're remembering the look on your face when you realize just how deeply you were betrayed, or when you got really hurt here. They can't get these things out of their head. Okay, there could have been other people in the background that were slandering your name, or trying to get in between other connections for you, just trying to sabotage your happiness. Now this person wants to change their ways. They can't take thinking about it anymore. Like, they literally can't live with this guilt. Now this person wants to change their ways. They can't take thinking about it anymore. Like, they literally can't live with this guilt. The guilt is so heavy as to what's been done to you, and you've persevered not only, but on the other hand, boy, do they feel horrible for how they've treated you or how you've been treated. They keep thinking of how unfair everything was for you. Okay?
You know, and it just seems like that a lot of our politicians is trying to give that right away. You know, trying to take it away from the people. Because the bottom line is the people. Now, when a politician goes into office and he takes an oath to the Constitution, he's taking an oath to the people of the Constitution. Now, you know, he's a taxpayer too, but he's paid by taxpayer dollars from the people, you see. So therefore, he's beholden unto the people, not to himself. He has to be held more accountable, because you know, he could go sideways and do dirty deals under the table and to make more profit for him, you know, to have more gain. And at the same time, the people are not gaining. The American people are not gaining because of crooked politicians. Now, we got crooked politicians right here in Alamance County. They don't follow the Constitution. You know, all you police officers and all you judges, they're on the contract. You know, that's just the way it is. According to the Constitution of the United States, they're on the contract. So, you know, they do a lot of stuff that that just kind of side passes the Constitution. They just step around it. They do a lot of stuff, you know, and so the American people need to read their Constitution and know what it says in there. You know, most of the time you have to take a class to learn these things. You know, and because it sounds complicated, but it really ain't. You know, so you know, I'm just saying.
Well, I think that's correct. I think you said it sounds. I think it seems. Not necessarily sounds, but it seems complicated, but it really isn't. But sometimes when you start reading it, because it's written in an old style, you have a tendency to want somebody to help you understand exactly what that meant. And you know that there's several things in it that you know, that you're not supposed to be required to let soldiers live in your house. Well, you know, we don't really worry about stuff like that anymore, but that's in the Constitution. So,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
reading it is a good thing. It's short. It's not real long. You know, and it's a wonderful thing. You know, I love to go through it and read it, especially the preamble, which I think is one of the most wonderful things
Well,
about
you
it.
learn a lot when you read in the Constitution about traveling, your rights as a citizen, and you know who the politicians have to answer to. It's supposed to be the public, but that's not the way it goes. Most of the time, it seems like you're guilty, and you have to prove yourself innocent. The way they look at it.
Sometimes we have to remind folks that think that they're in charge, that you are innocent until you're proven guilty, that there is no, you know, there are a lot of people that believe that if you have been charged with something, you must be guilty. No, under our system, you are absolutely innocent until proven guilty, and you don't have to prove yourself not guilty. The prosecution has to prove your guilt. You know, you don't have to prove your innocence. They have to prove your guilt.
Well, then, you know, it's like this right here. Until they prove you guilty, you know, if you shoot somebody and you intended to kill them, I can see you locking them up. But if you just go get somebody off a say-so and say, well, we got to take you to jail because so-and-so said so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's hearsay. That's not proof. You shouldn't be able to be locked up till you had your day in court. You shouldn't have to be able to go down there and pay a fine.
Under our Constitution, you are allowed to, if you're accused of a crime, you're allowed by a judge to be held until they prove you guilty with bail. You know, and they can not allow you bail. Most of the time, you're under our Constitution, you're allowed bail.
Well, you know, I understand that, but you know, a lot of the stuff they lock people up for is not even a law. It's just a ticket.
Yeah, you know, I like to look at this stuff on Facebook. They show these confrontations between police officers and these people that call themselves auditors, who you know, and they're trying to get this to happen. So you got to remember that. You know, they're egging,
Make money that way.
they're egging these people on. But police officers and officials at the post office and officials at the courthouse say the most ridiculous things sometimes.
I feel like there's another person involved in this situation, just does whatever they want. They don't seem to care about what they're doing. There is a lot of gossip about you here.
Oh, really? Oh, I know that already.
There is a lot of gossip about you here. Somebody who may be holding some kind of grudge. They don't really care what they say about you. Yeah, look, whoever's talking about you and gossiping about you, that's about to come to an end. I'm kind of getting the feeling like this person that feels horrible for how you were treated, they're defending you now. I'm feeling like they're defending you and they're bringing down whoever this is that's holding a grudge, like it's over. I'm kind of getting the feeling like this person that feels horrible for how you were treated, they're defending you now. I'm feeling like they're defending you and they're bringing down whoever this is that's holding a grudge, like it's over. There may even be somebody who passes away from the things that they've done to you. Not knowing how to stop their karma. Not knowing what to do about your ancestors coming in there, haunting them, okay? Avenging you. That's what this is. They're avenging you. Yeah, but these people, I feel like they were praying to the devil, okay? And they didn't want to stop. They didn't want to, they were just very toxic. And they didn't want to stop doing to you what they were doing to you. A whole group went against you, turned on you, and started trashing your reputation or sending you spiritual attacks. Some of them could have even done some spell work here and didn't want to stop. They just did not want to quit trying to bring you down or praying for your downfall.
For 13 years, going on 14 now, non-stop, these evil-ass people. Call themselves Christians, they ain't shit. I'm told my light irritates their demons.
People, I feel like they were praying to the devil, okay? And they didn't want to stop. They didn't want to, they were just very toxic. These people are scared, terrified. Yeah, I feel like they were doing some work, spell work, dark magic. They may have even paid other people to do it. Anybody who had anything to do with wanting you brought down, they're being brought down by your ancestors. Hauntings, bad karma, bad luck, bad health, losing things, right? They could be losing a home, losing money, losing a job. They're getting some major karma here for messing with a chosen one. Every time these people try to do something to you, you get a blessing. That's just giving me that energy. As soon as they do something to try to bring you down, you get blessed. That's just giving me that energy. As soon as they do something to try to bring you down, you get blessed. Okay? And they've tried to do a lot, and it's a whole group. So now you could be sitting on a whole pile of blessings. Manifest your blessings. You're extremely powerful. You could be a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Yeah, see, all they wanted to do was bring you down. You could be a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Yeah, see, all they wanted to do was bring you down. All they wanted to do was sabotage you. They wanted you crying in the dirt, okay? You are pure fire. You are pure fire. You can't be brought down. You're a warrior. The Queen of Wands is the warrior queen. And boy, you've been dragged through the dirt, the gravel. Okay, these people have really put you through it, a whole entire group. And that powerful manifestation energy from the Earth Angel. Justice. Now that your justice is rolling in, okay? Because you are the blessing. You always were the blessing, okay? There is a group of people. It feels like it's a group, okay? It just really feels like a group or a community of people. They're all seeing you as being a supernatural person. They're all seeing you as being a supernatural person, a supernatural being, okay? Which you are. You're a divine being. Okay, you've got people in the background afraid of you. Okay, they're afraid and it says terrified, actually. They're getting karma. They've got, someone here could also have some kind of demonic attachment. And they're being haunted as well, because they're realizing now this whole group is getting karma for messing with a chosen one, okay? Oh, they should have never messed with you. Afraid because now they know they messed with someone who's not of this world. Okay, be getting haunted, but I really am getting the sense that what they really have going on in their home and around them are your ancestors coming in to whoop their butt.
Off of this job to be able to obtain something that belonged to you.
Be careful what you do to me, 'cause it may come around on you. Be careful what you say to me. Somebody might say it about you. Why don't you try to live right instead of trying to do harm to people? Why don't you try to live right instead of trying to do harm to people?